Welcome to Manifesting Through Motherhood. I'm your host, Lindsay Williams, a self-development mentor, entrepreneur and author, dedicated to helping busy mums like you manifest success, balance and create passive income on your terms. With years of experience in mindset, manifestation, fitness, parenting and business growth, I share simple yet powerful strategies to help you transform your life without the overwhelm. If you're ready to up-level your mindset, build a thriving business and create the life you truly deserve, you're in the right place. You can also find all my books on Amazon, packed with tools to help you manifest and grow. So don't forget to follow the podcast to be updated on all new episodes. And let's get going. Guys, welcome back to the podcast. Today we are diving into something that many of us deal with, male and female, and that is food noise, that mental chatter that seems to take over your day. Whispering, just go on, have one more biscuit. And then suddenly the whole pack's gone. Like having a Jaffa cake, and I can't just eat one, I have to eat them all. We've all been there, so let's break it down and chat about how to quiet and down that noise and start shifting our behaviour with food. And I hope your ears have pricked up, because I have been on this journey the last 5 months. I was not going to get to 43 at the weight I was, disgustingly in my higher level weight zone. As a qualified personal trainer and fitness coach, I was deeply ashamed of how, I wouldn't say just let my body go, because I am no way a lazy person. And there's lots of factors to why my weight went up. And, people always say, if we stick to this and this happens. But, I've lived and breathed fitness. I've been up and down with my weight. I have yo-yo dieted. Every single diet pill over the years, I've done it. I've completely tried everything over the years, and I've completely destroyed my body by fasting and doing all the things that I do and dropping my calories and working in gyms and doing meal plans and eating 5-6 meals a day and high protein diets, then going on shakes. I've completely just gone off the rails with everything, because I'm looking at social media, looking at what other people are doing, and I learn behaviours from other people. And we aren't all the same. We're all genetically either slimmer or bigger, and we all struggle with our weight. We're not all confident with our weight and how we look, whether that be we're too slim or too big. It doesn't mean, people always assume that people on the larger side are, the ones that really are unhappy. But I have friends that are on the lower side of the weight, and they absolutely want to gain weight. And I'm like, well, I just want to lose weight, so you have a bit of my weight and we'll do some swaps. But it doesn't work like that. Our bodies are different. Take my husband, for instance. He's 10 years older than me. He's 53. And he can basically eat what he wants. But he recently had a blood test and his cholesterol was 6.1 and mine's dropped to 3.1. So bear in mind, I've got about 6 stone to lose. I've got a pound off 4 stone. And my cholesterol is better than my husband's. So the thing is, you don't know. And the problem is, when you are on the slimmer side, you can eat. I know people that can eat what they want, and they put a lot of saturated fats in the body, and they're quite sedentary because they don't need to work for it. But you don't know about what's going on in your body. You've got a lot of visceral fat that covers your organs, and obviously that fat turns to arterial plaque, and it builds up in our body, which causes heart and cardiovascular diseases and stroke, further along down the line, and diabetes. So, when you're either going to struggle with your weight or you're not in life, and my husband isn't one of those people. And if you are, I always find the women within our family, none of us are super skinny, so we're all similar with our frame, our bust. It's funny when you look at family members, sometimes we can look the same, because it is DNA, it is genetics. Sometimes I don't know, it can be a lot of food and factors and what you eat at home and what's your environment at home. I do believe that if you are in a home where, you're consuming a lot of calories and you're living that lifestyle, it's going to be passed down to your children, whether you like it or not. Because that's what we do. But I was talking to a client the other day and I said, we didn't have lots of takeaways. We didn't have fast food We didn't have Uber Eats. We just had chip shops, and we had a local Chinese place, which we couldn't really afford to get all the time, and the occasional McDonald's. We had cash. We couldn't go online and order food. And our mums and parents, whoever we live with, like my mum, I used to come home from work and she'd make me a meal with 3 things on my plate, and it would suffice. I was happy. I was content. I was full. But as we get older, we can buy more foods, we can eat what we want, our body changes. When I was younger, I could burn off fat quicker and calories. I used to go out and rave and drink and party. And then I became a mum. I had a C-section. I got this belly. This belly came from nowhere. This mum pouch. And I was like, oh, like, okay. But you know what? I had a child, and that was what I knew was, I was not under no illusion that my body was going to go back to what it used to be, especially having a C-section, because I couldn't feel my stomach. And yeah, it is what it is. But you have to embrace sometimes what you've got, but our weight can spiral out of control. So let me talk about food noise. What is food noise? It consists of an inner dialogue around food. And its thoughts are like, what am I going to eat next? I shouldn't have eaten that. And they'll start again on Monday. It's really exhausting. It's not about hunger. It's about habits, emotions, and sometimes just boredom. And I think mine is, I blame my husband, but don't tell him that, because I said to him, we're comfortable, we're happy, and we have takeaways. He can eat what he wants. If I eat what he eats, I'm going to put the weight on. It's not even going to touch him. It just comes straight out of him. I don't know why. I always say a moment on the lips is a lifetime on the hips. Not for him, but for me. I'm like, why is this for? I have to work extremely hard. I have to go on that treadmill. I have to go to the gym. He works out a little bit in the back room, in our gym room. But he does 30 minutes on my treadmill, and then he just weights 3 to 4 times a week. But bear in mind, he's only just started doing that because his cholesterol went up. Give him a little bit of a wake-up call, because I was like, I'm so self-conscious working in past cardiac rehab centres, and I've like, you've got to look at your cholesterol now with his mum having his mum's got cardiac issues. You don't know what's in your family, you don't know what's going to come about. And if we look at our heart rate and then we start looking at our cholesterol, they're massive indicators of what's going to happen in the future. And we get like a ratio of where our cholesterol is, like keeping it under 5 is a big thing. So they're changing statistics all the time with cholesterol. And then I said to him, I bet you they will offer you statins. And he was like, yep, they did. And he was like, wait, I was like, you don't take statins. They're just not good for your body. They're good for your legs. They cause so many issues from the people that I've known have taken them. I know people do have to take them, but I said, you're fit, you're active, you can reduce that. And he said, I don't want to do that, because it wouldn't motivate him to work out if he was just going to use a tablet. So like, right, drop it. He's been swapping different breakfasts. He doesn't really eat breakfast, but he was getting into the habit of getting a few McDonald's breakfasts. He can have a couple of Mars bars and crisps, because that's what men do, but they don't gain weight. It's just boredom. And it is all about going back to what I've just described. Is boredom is like, half the times, I've like just eaten things and I'm like, what can we have? Like, can we have a snack? And like, I went to the cinema the other week and I didn't really take anything with me. And usually I'm like, I feel like we need to put things in our, it's like when people smoke and they've always got to smoke or vape. It's like you've got to eat something. I think our mind is connected with our mouth and our hands, and we just feel like we need to eat. I do feel like I used to comfort eat a lot, not in a gorgy or pathetic way. It's just I'd eat food, or I feel like I was hungry. So I wasn't listening to the food noise and what was going on around me. I was just going with the flow. I was just burying my head in the sand, and yeah, I was happy. I was still happy. I'm still a happy person. I'm still active. And I was like, yeah, well, I'm active. It's all right, and can eat what I want. But it was spiraling. My weight was just going up and up and up, and I was just like getting so stressed. And I have hardly any food noise now. And people think, where does food noise come from? And it is normally triggered by emotional eating. So we do use comfort food for stress, to relieve that overwhelm, or even celebration. When we go out, we drink, we eat. And it could be our diet culture, years of restriction created by obsession. That is definitely me. I've been up and down with food. And then I think I'm going to have a treat day on Saturday. Habit loops, like always having snacks, like I said, in the cinema or at home, in the car, road trips, we get a picnic. And even like when you look at like, especially British people, and when we get salads out, and I always laugh at this every year. I remember my nan used to make me salad and put pork pies on it. I'm like, that's a really good salad, but it's a pork pie on it. Because that's just what we've created, a culture of food. Like where food is, aren't we? We're all, wherever we are in the world, we all love food. Food is on our screens. We love it. We want to create it. There's freebies out there, there's YouTubes. We've got influencers for food, and foods can look fun, and it gives us visuals in our mind, and the taste of food and the textures. And if you love all that, you might like, oh, I could just eat. So I used to think, oh, I could just eat this tonight or that tonight. I don't really get that at the minute. So I'm enjoying that. I'm realising I'm retraining my brain not to think I need that. Because I think about people in countries that haven't experienced food like McDonald's and KFCs. Because what we do sometimes think, oh, we could eat a KFC or we could eat a McDonald's, because we remember that taste, because we've already rewired that smell. So when we think of like a certain food, our mouth starts to water, and we start to think, oh, I could just eat that. I could just have some chips and gravy. Oh yeah. So we think, oh yeah, we're gonna get a chip here. What can we get? Oh, fish and chips. Oh yeah, fish and chips and some curry sauce on the side. And we think, oh, and then when we start to think about it and we don't have it, I used to think about it for about 2 weeks until I had it, and it's like your brain is like got a burning desire to have this food. And I think this is what we've ended up doing, especially as women. We've ended up just gaining more weight, and it is about energy in versus energy out. I know I'm in total calorie deficit now most days, and that is what is burning me off my weight quicker, and doing the fasting along with my medication that I've been on through my doctor, which I'm going to be coming off that soon. And I have to make sure that my sugar levels and my glucose levels are all going to be stabilised, because going for a health check over 40 to see sugar levels up in the sky was a massive scary point for me, especially doing fitness. And people will say, you should know, and I do know everything about, I can talk about fitness all day long. I used to work with people, give them food plans, but that's not me, that's them. It's different for me. I'm a different person. I've had a lot of pain over the last couple of years, and I've not been able to do the exercise that I used to do, because the high impact exercises used to cause my fibromyalgia to flare up. So I was in chronic neck pain all the time. Well, widespread pain. I just felt lethargic, tired. I'm trying to work in my salon, and it was like, oh, and that's a lot of the reason I've created passive income and created my podcast and my books to do that, because in years to come, I don't know how my body is going to be around hair and beauty. Am I going to have to reduce my hours? What am I going to do? Like, people say to me, you're not going to go and work in a gym again. And I'd love to just go and do it one day a week and PT, because I get an absolute kick out of it. But I'm not getting fit because I'm teaching people. So when you're teaching people, I'm not doing it. And that's what started to happen when I used to PT. I was doing less in the gym because I was training people. Yeah, I was boxing, coaching, and I was using the pads, and I was sweating, but I wasn't working out as much, because then I was depleted, I was tired. I had to come home for my son. Then I still did my hairdressing. So I was like, oh, everything was everywhere. So that food noise is there. And sometimes we can wake up in the morning and think about food. It's so funny. And journaling is so good, because we can write everything down. Blood sugar dips, that's physical cravings, can play a big part too. So if we aren't regulating our good fats and we're carb loading, we are going to be, if you are not a diabetic, your body is going to be all over the place. And if we aren't eating all day when we should be eating, or just some small snacks, maybe some nuts, something that's enriched in really good nutrients, then we're gonna struggle. We're gonna get to evening and we're gonna eat food. And people say, I don't eat all day, so I shouldn't be like putting weight on. And yeah, you might have your tea, but then you are carb loading that tea, and then you are probably snacking. And then if you haven't got an active lifestyle, which means you are not doing at least 3 times a week of 30-minute exercises, moderate exercise, then you're not raising your heart rate. You are, and people say to me, well, I'm on my feet all day, I work, I've got a busy job. That is not fat burning. That is not raising your heart rate. That's just working. That's just what your body needs to get through the day for you to, burn off the calories. So we will burn off the calories that we're eating, but if we're eating more, like 1,000 to 2,000 more, and that could just come down to having a couple of lattes, maybe some ice cream at night with a bit of chocolate sauce on. The little things that I've realised now that I've created some new habits. My husband is then doing it as well because he's been more mindful. He's lost a few pounds, so I'm actually only a few pounds heavier than him, where I was about 4.5 stone heavier than him. So that feels good as well. I feel lighter. I feel more, I just feel so much better. So how do we quiet and down the food noise? Unless you're on medication, then we have to do it a way that, because like if you're on medication and you're going to be coming off medication soon, and we all know what that medication is, then we need to think of ways, because these noises are going to come back with probably a big bang. But what we've done, we've shrunk our stomachs, we've created better mindsets around food, or we've created better relationships with food. We've kind of like had a sabbatical where we've stepped out of that food noise, and we're looking in from an observer, and we're looking at that food noise. So what are your triggers for food noise? So what strategies can you put in place now for when you come off medications, or when you are starting to just go and just change like your lifestyles? And so it's like looking at what we can do. How can we pause that? So we need to pause and check in. Ask yourself, am I hungry or am I feeling something else? Because sometimes when I eat and I'm not really that hungry, I get, my stomach starts to rumble after, and I think, I feel like I'm still hungry, but it's how my food's digesting. So I have lots of water, maybe some water before, some herbal teas. So it's just making sure that we're identifying hunger for thirst. Like we're not thinking we might be thirsty and not hungry. Our brains are very naughty, and they trick us. That's what they do. You can also keep a food mood journal. So I've got a couple in my link tree. This helps you spot emotional patterns with eating. This could down to the relationships you're in. It could be work stress. And I always say to people, prep your meals. Even when you work from home, get some eggs in the fridge. If you like eggs, get some salad, get some snack boxes and have them. So when you are feeling ravenous, just go in, have a few carrot sticks, a bit of hummus, some tomatoes, whatever you like. Make it low GI foods, anti-inflammatory foods, no sandwiches, not just going in, having a bag of crisps. It's just no substantial value to those foods. And we all know that. And I'm not saying they're not good to have a pack of crisps, but we enjoy a pack of crisps because we're usually hungry and we need that fix. So if we are relying on that salt and vinegar crisp taste, or, cheese and onion, like, I could just eat something like that, that shows we're not regulating our sugars. And what I've done, I've been able to regulate my sugars now. And I'm not thinking about foods like I used to, which is really good. And I'm watching my husband eat foods and I'm like, no, I'm okay, thank you. And he's like, do you want one? I'm like, no, it's okay, I'm all right. And then I'm like, yes. So it's like, I use that 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 method, and I just count backwards and then re-look at it and I'm like, no, it's gone. It's a thing of the past. So this is a really good approach as well. Walk out of the room, try not to get yourself in situations. Don't buy the foods in if you don't need to, because we always feel like we need snacks in the cupboard and foods, and because that's just our mindsets. We've changed our mindsets so much over, I'd say, the last 10 years around food. Looking at nourishing properly, so your protein, your fibres and healthy fats to reduce cravings. So that's just going to keep you going for longer throughout the day. Create new rituals, so swap that 9 p.m. snack for a herbal tea over soak in the bath. So I always talk about habit stacking, rituals, doing all the things that you need to do to work on your self-development, your personal development, your fitness and your health, and work on everything. For self-development encompasses everything, and the manifesting just, it like explodes it all. So I manifest, I've been visualizing my body. I put a picture, I've got some new crystals, and there's a picture on my fridge of when I was like a few stone lighter than I am now, and it's there, and I keep looking at it and visualizing how did I feel. I felt amazing on that holiday. I had a bikini costume on and I felt good, and how did I feel? Like, how did other people's react? And so you've got to like manifest how you're going to feel and what clothes are you going to wear. And I've got rid of loads of clothes, and I've bought like 3 sizes smaller clothes, and they're still getting loose. So it's just funny how my body's just starting to, what I tend to be doing now is I'm losing at a small rate a week now, but what I'm doing is my visceral fat's gone down. My body fat percentage has gone down a hell of a lot. My BMI has gone down 10, and I'm like crazy. Everything's just zipped down. My cholesterol's dropped at 1 point. Everything's good. So that's good. I know everything's good, and I'm looking after myself, and I'm probably being more mindful. Things that have to happen in life for us to look at, our situations, and that's if you've got pain management, you might have a disability, so you might have restrictions around your mobility. That's so hard as well, because you end up gaining more weight because you're not stood up and you sat down maybe in a wheelchair. There is so many exercises you can do as well, in chair exercises, and sometimes we have to probably be a little bit more mindful about food when we are not as active, because it's not like the other person where is able to go and do what they want to do. But I think there's no barriers to fitness and health. Working in cardiac rehab, I worked with stroke patients, worked with people that are like 80, 90-year-olds coming working out in the gym. People with LVAD machines that are attached to the heart, they are going, they're moving, and they have had a massive wake-up call. And sometimes we need that, but we don't need to get to there. Things can happen without our control. Like, I know that myself, things just come out of nowhere. We can have, bouts of, our emotions can be everywhere. And it's not linear fitness and health. It's just up and down all the time. We have think about my 20s, I'm feeling amazing. Then late 20s, I had a 9-pound baby. My belly was huge. My bum went bigger. Everything went big. And I was like, what's happened here? And most of my 30s, I've never, I've not been really happy with my body. And, it's just our minds. We're never really truly happy. I don't know anyone is happy with the body. Like, has actually said to me, like, I love everything about my body. And we do need to start looking in the mirror and looking at our lumps and bumps and everything, and saying that, using positive affirmations and saying how much we love and embrace our bodies, because they're our bodies. We own them. Like, they're nobody else's bodies, and we couldn't help that we've got them lumps and bumps and cellulite and rolls and tires, whatever you want to call them, because they're just ours, and they're ours to keep sometimes. But when it comes to a health perspective, sometimes we have to make changes. And mindful eating is just actually sitting down, slow down, and taste your food. And I always do this and go, thank you. And this is how I work on my manifesting. It's just being grateful for everything that you eat. Let your taste buds just absorb the food, because I know what we do, and I do it myself. We're on our phones. I think this is what happens to a lot of us. We're on our phones, and you're probably like nodding now, and we are reading our phones and just stuffing our food in. We're not looking at our food. So how is our brain registering that we've eaten that food? Next minute you're like, where's all my food gone? I've eaten it all. Right, back to my phone. Carry on. Off I go. Back to work. Put your phones down. Enjoy your food and say thank you. But we are running off dopamine. We have got so many things in our heads. We are multitasking. We are looking at emails, doing social posts. We are voice noting, talking to friends. You name it, I do it all the time. Plus I eat at the same time. But what I've started to do is be more mindful about eating with my phone, just trying to enjoy it and savour every bite, really. How do we reprogram our subconscious minds around food? So you've probably said things like, I'm addicted to chocolate, or I have no willpower. So let's flip that and start saying, I listen to my body and nourish it with love. I am learning to eat in a way that supports my energy and my goals. I don't need to finish it because it's there. You're rewriting your food story, and that's powerful. And that's what I want you to do. I want you to get some piece of paper, get your journal out, and write down your food story. Look at you. Have you got a food noise? If you have, you have. If you haven't, then. But if you've got food noise, look at the factors. Anything that's resonated through anything that I've said, start writing it all down. Habits, how you are feeling towards your body. Do you comfort eat? Do you eat the children's leftovers? We all do that. Not so much now. My son's 14. He doesn't really eat chicken nuggets like they used to. But you know what they're like when they're that age? Chicken nuggets, leave a couple on the plate. We eat them. We are not adding them calories to our food groups. And we might be doing really well having salads and shakes and protein powders. But then we're eating our children's leftovers and then having a snack at night. So, we're like doing ourselves out of, what we're doing. So just start looking at, do something like a food journal and start looking at what you do. And look at every time you want to go into the fridge and get something that you've had your tea. Why are we even hungry? Have a cup of tea. And my friend's got a new fridge and it actually takes pictures of when you take food out and it sends you a shopping list so she knows when the children are going in and out. So I haven't got a fridge like that. But wouldn't that be good? Like, look, well, my son, it would be going off. I'd have an alarm on his arm because he's always opening the fridge. I'm like, what are you doing? And he's like, I'm hungry. Like, you've just eaten this, you've just eaten that. I said, you are going to be sick. He isn't overweight and he could do to I won't say put weight on, but he needs to bulk out, definitely. He's starting to fill out a little bit now. But if you are struggling with your children and the food and the calorie intake, then you are, them keep going in the fridge isn't healthy. And I have, I do this and I'm always like, I never went in the fridge, I don't think, like I used to when I was younger. But now they've got a lot of things in the fridge. There's so many different things, and my son's got like sensory issues, so he's got like cheese strings and jelly, so he'll have a cheese string and he'll come down, can he have a jelly? And you feel guilty as a parent saying, no, you're eating. So I don't mind having fruit, but then it's sugar at night, so I'm like bashing my head sometimes. I'm like, oh, but I want him to eat and I don't want to be cruel. But I have started saying, come on, it's like 9 o'clock, we can't be eating. You've had your tea and that's enough. But then sometimes I let him eat. So what I've started doing is letting him have food, like when he comes in from school. He's having his tea then, not at 5, because I was allowing him to have snacks and sugary snacks before dinner because it's convenient for us parents and it keeps them quiet. But it's the unhealthy patterns, and sometimes they follow our patterns as well. I won't say I snack a lot, so sometimes we can think, well, I don't eat a lot, I don't know. But once we start writing things down, we do actually start thinking, well, then foods are not a lot. You might have 5 lattes a day. They could be 120 calories each. That's like 600-700 calories just on coffees. So just think about that when we're having our lattes or we're going for like a Starbucks or Costa, which are lovely, by the way. But when we have our fancy coffees, we might have some syrups in there and we might have a cake. So it just adds up. We are not burning the foods that we are eating. We are carb loading, our bodies are storing, and we're eating late at night sometimes, and it's turning into sugars, and our sugar levels start to increase. So if you've ever felt like food controls your thoughts, you are not alone. But guess what? You are in control now. And this is your reminder that you are more powerful than a craving. And you get to choose how food fits into your life, not the other way around. And that's what I have been doing. I have been thinking, if I have been feeling a little hungry or having them rumbles, I think, have I eaten? So it might be yes. So why am I hungry? And what have I actually had? Have I had enough protein, enough fats? No, I've probably had a low snack, which of course I'm going to be hungry because I need to burn. I need calories to live and to not be cold, to keep my body temperature up. And it's looking at our BMI and our height and weight. I'm only a couple of pounds heavier than my husband, and his BMI is 5 less than mine, and that's because he's about 4 inches taller than me. So BMI can be a little bit daunting, and I don't personally always do it as gospel. I do look at it as a guideline, but like with working with athletes in the gym, like looking at big guys that I used to work with and women that like to do a lot of strength training, they're full on solid muscle mass with low body percentage. So just be mindful when you are looking at your BMI. If you are not that person, then your BMI is just a guide. And it's just a guide, I think, to the future of getting high cholesterol, having your arterial plaque, blood pressure, diabetes, and any comorbidities that you are going to get later on in life, because we can get 2 things at once. That's like we can just get really poorly, and then it can lead on to something else, and then we're in a pickle then, and we can't get out of it. So food noise, let me know if you struggle with food noise, and if you are on medications, and how is that working for you, because everyone is different, everybody has their own journey, and I support women and men, whatever journeys they're on, because if things are making us healthier and things are supporting us, sometimes people need a helping hand, some people need support, you might need diet, weight management clinics, and they're really hard to be diverted to. They can be up to 12 months, so people are struggling, but now we can start taking charge of ourselves. And I didn't talk a lot about, I haven't talked about alcohol, but alcohol, years ago, I would go out a lot and drink alcohol, and they are empty calories. But I don't have to worry about that now. So I'm like, not even need to count that in, like, how many drinks are you having a week? Like, well, I don't have any. And to be fair, I don't really fancy alcohol, really. If I have one, I do not enjoy it, and I don't know why. Sometimes like a glass of bubbly. But yeah, I don't know. That's probably because I've got more self-conscious, but I am being more body aware. So if I do something nice, I want to treat myself, I will treat myself. So yeah, anyway, I'm going to stop talking now, because I could go on all day. But let me know if you are struggling with anything at the minute with food noise. Is it high? Is it suppressed? Let's have a chat. And I will see you all soon. And yeah, have a great week. See you later. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I hope you feel inspired to take action and manifest the life you deserve. Don't forget to come and join me over on social media and Instagram at Busy Mums Fitness Corner for more tips, motivation and behind the scenes. And also be sure to check out my books on Amazon. They're designed to help you manifest your dreams and grow. And if you're ready to take the next step and work with me, you can head over to my Linktree for all the details. Let's make magic happen together. So until next time, keep manifesting and stay amazing.